Now that you've seen how Java uses Locale to customize the display of dates and currencies, it's time to learn how you can design your own application to allow Locale's specific elements to be used. This starts with the Resource Bundle class. The Resource Bundle class is an abstract class in the java.util package. You can implement classes that extend this abstract class, or you can get an instance of a resource bundle by calling one of several static getBundle methods on the Resource Bundle class. The latter approach is dependent on resource data, either stored in a series of files or provided by a service. Data that's customized is often textual in the form of user messages, button labels or menu items, but may contain other elements such as images or audio components. To date, the most common method of supplying data for a resource bundle is using the properties file. This is a simple text file containing key value pairs. The key is a string, a name to be used when the data is requested, and the value is also a single text literal. The properties file name includes a base name called the bundle name and some part of the locale identifier, and ends with the extension .properties. For example, you could have a default properties file called textMessages.properties, which might describe strings for basic interface language elements like yes, no, hello, world, and so on. Here I'm showing an example of a base text messages properties file. You'll create additional properties files to support other languages. You can think of a bundle as a series of files that have the same base bundle name but are differentiated by locale specifics. If you need to support the Spanish language, for example, you would create a textMessages_es.properties file with Spanish language text literals for yes, no, hello, and so on. I show an example of this file here. Notice that the keys for both these properties files are in English and are the same for both files. Whatever language you choose for your keys is up to you, but they do need to be consistent across files so that the key can be used to look up the value. Of course, there are many language dialects, so you may need to also provide additional language variations for these, which can be done by including country, script, and/or a variant. The makers of IntelliJ JetBrains have a plug-in feature available called the Resource Bundle Editor that can help you manage these series of files and the data they contain. Java has specific rules for searching and matching one of these properties files to a locale. These rules can be found in the Resource Bundle class documentation. Here I include the link to this information. Let's take a look at this page in a browser. This takes me directly to the Resource Bundle search and loading strategy. The method to get data is getBundle, which has a few overloaded versions. This method will construct a series of candidate names, which are shown here using the locale to find the best matching properties file it can. Here, you can see the order in which it will search for matching file names from very specific, including language, script, country, and variant. It proceeds from there to less specific. You can see that the script attribute has a higher priority in this hierarchy, just after language, than either country or variant does. This doesn't show just the base name variation, but does mention in the text that if the specified locale's language, script, country, and variant are all empty strings, then the base name is the only candidate bundle name. The base file is always the last in the chain and will get returned if no other matches were found. This hierarchy lets you design your language elements broadly at just the language level to much more specific and targeted elements. You're not limited to using properties files for your internationalization support. You can extend the Resource Bundle class or another related abstract class called the List Resource Bundle class. You'd have the subclasses house your data in code or source it from another place. You can use other file formats such as XML with a little extra configuration by extending both the Resource Bundle and Resource Bundle.control classes. You can find instructions for this in the Resource Bundle.control API documentation if you're interested, and the link is displayed here. Alternately, you can make a call to a service provider. I'll be talking about this feature later in the course. You can also mix and match any of these methods. Let's get back to some code and look at how you'd start putting together an application that's internationalized. I've created a project named Resource Bundle Project with the usual main class. First, I'll create a Resource Bundle variable and set that to the result of calling the static method getBundle on the Resource Bundle class. This method takes a single string, which is the bundle name. Here I'll pass the string literal basic text. Next I'll print the class name of the instance that comes back. I'll print the base bundle name using getBaseBundleName. Lastly, I can print out the keys by calling the keySet method. This code compiles, but it won't execute because I haven't created a resource properties file yet. IntelliJ supports the creation of resource bundles, so first I want to open the project panel. I'll right-click on the top-level project. I'll add a new directory called Resources. You can call this directory anything you want, but it's common practice to call it Resources. Resource files are best packaged separately from the source code, so I want this directory to be at the root for now. I'll next create a new resource bundle in this Resources folder. I can select New, then Resource Bundle as the menu item. This will bring up the Create Resource Bundle window. I'll set the base name to basic text. You can see that there's a checkbox to use XML-based properties files, but this feature in Java isn't as seamless as this option would have you believe. Let me encourage you, if XML-based property files interest you, to use the link I showed you in the slide and explore how to get that working. Notice there's always a default locale selected in the right pane of this window. I'll include a couple of others and select the plus sign under the locales to add. You can enter a list separated by commas. Just make sure there's no extra spaces in your list of locale IDs. I'll enter en_ca, fr_ca. Once I hit OK on this pop-up and OK on the Create Resources Bundle window, this creates 3 files under a symbolic folder shown in IntelliJ named Resource Bundle Basic Text. IntelliJ will open all of these properties files in editor windows. These files are empty when they're created. Because the Resources folder is not part of the project's class's output folder, it's not immediately included in the class path, so I need to let IntelliJ know that this should be included. I can do this by right-clicking on the Resources folder and picking one of the last options on the menu, Mark Directory As. I'll select the Resources root menu option from the menu I get from selecting that. Now if I execute the main method, notice first the class name of the instance I get back from the getBundle method. Property Resource Bundle is a subclass of the abstract class Resource Bundle. Next, the getBaseBundleName returns basic text, which we already knew, and has the bundle name. Finally, the keySet, which I printed, is empty. That's because I haven't actually set up any data yet in any of these properties files. I'll double-click on the basic text.properties file to edit this file. You might notice IntelliJ is giving me a plugin suggestion, and you may see the same if you have these suggestions turned on or if you don't already have this plugin installed. You don't need this plugin to edit properties files, but it does provide a nice user interface to help manage them. I'm not going to install this yet, but I will show this to you a bit later. I'll ignore this pop-up for now. If I actually select Ignore Plugin on this pop-up, I won't get prompted again, which isn't what I want either. So for now, I'm just not going to interact with the pop-up at all. I'll start editing this file by including a comment first. Comments in property files are different than Java comments. They start with a hashtag or pound sign or an exclamation mark. Next, I need to set up some key value pairs. The key shouldn't contain any spaces. It's common practice to use an equal sign to separate the key and value, but other formats are supported, which I'll show you shortly. I'll do the same thing for the no key and its value, and I'll add hello and world as well. Now if I run again, I'll see my keys printed, though because this is a set, they're in no particular order. Let's print out the proverbial hello world message. I'll use printf to do this, because each word will now be retrieved from the resources file. I will use getString on the resource bundle variable with the matching key to get the text I want to present. Running this code in any locale you're in is going to give you hello world. But we're not internationalized yet. First, it's important to understand the keys are case sensitive. If I change world to capital W, and now I'll run this code, I'll get an exception that it couldn't find a resource for that key. The getString method isn't going to ignore case, it expects an exact match. I'll undo that change. I'm going to end this video here. In the next video, I'll be creating key value pairs in these other 2 properties files with the help of IntelliJ's plugin. So I'll see you in that next video.